hope that we're able to continue and grow into new marketplaces. NADEFA, which I'm the vice president of, we're constantly looking to open doors and create relationships to grow the industry into new states.
That was great.
You never know where that seam will come in handy. How's that for being green? Holy smokes. You see where the industry's gone in the last 3 to 5 years. What are we going to have in 3 to 5 years?
I don't know, but I'm hoping I'm part of it.
Out of the way. I think I'm in reverse.
What?
This is good. I love this job.
This program is dedicated to the men and women of the U.S. Armed Forces. May God bless America. Today's Americans are more disconnected with nature than any time in history. This disconnect has led to a society that is unaware of the importance of conservation of our natural resources. Fortunately, there are modern-day heroes who are still in touch with nature, and they work to protect wildlife and wildlife habitat for future generations.
You won't believe what I got Keith Warren doing.
Those stories are told here on Keith Warren's Deer and Wildlife Stories. Deer and Wildlife Stories is brought to you by the American Deer and Wildlife Alliance, Schrade Knives, New Dart, the North American Deer Farmers Association, DNA Solutions and North American Deer Registry, Record Rack, Whitetail Sales and Service, Bad Boy Mowers and Multi-Terrain Vehicles, New Supercharged Scent Killer by Wildlife Research Center, and the American Deer and Wildlife Alliance Foundation.
We are in Pennsylvania. This is Glenn Dice. Glenn is very involved in the deer industry. He's just not a deer farmer. He's extremely involved in the deer industry. And Glenn, what exactly is your role in the industry?
It's evolved over the years. When I first got started, I was just a deer farmer. I loved the time on the farm, but as that grew and became prosperous, I felt I needed to give back to the industry that gave me so much. So I got involved at the state level and served as an import chair for the state of Pennsylvania. Got on the Pennsylvania State Board and have helped to promulgate TB and brucellosis rules in Harrisburg. And eventually it led me to the national stage, where I currently am vice president for NADEFA. We represent farmers in Canada, North America, and Mexico. And it's just my way of giving back to the industry that's given to me.
What NADEFA is kind of where all the organizations come underneath one umbrella, and we have one voice that will go out and help our industry. And so you being a part of that, I want to thank you for that, because I'm a member of NADEFA, and if anybody out there is a deer breeder and you're not a member of NADEFA, shame on you. You ought to be, because united we stand. I really believe that. But let's go look at some big deer right now.
All right, buddy.
All right. These bucks right here, how old are they now?
These are all 2- and 3-year-olds.
Okay, my goodness, there's some big ones. You've got some big, framey deer.
Well, and that's something that I've tried to specialize in. Big. I'm a sucker for wide deer, and so I try to build that into my herd.
You've got some exceptional deer. Okay, what's the deal with the ear tag colors? You've got green and
ear tag
blue.
colors will help to distinguish sire.
Okay.
So, and then we use number series to distinguish year, and then the ear that it's in will distinguish the sex. So you can throw up a set of binoculars, and I can, unless my mind's going, I can tell you pretty much everything you need to know about that animal.
Wow. And the people that are buying these animals are buying these animals for breeding purposes only, right?
Correct.
See, that's awesome. That's awesome. This is the best of the best. I mean, what you're looking at right here, this is the best that you can produce today. And these are yearlings right here?
Yes they are.
Whew, my goodness. Who's that big one laying down there? Look at him, he's wide.
He's pretty special one.
My goodness.
I have my best penny yearlings ever. I'm just tickled. I feel blessed.
You see where the industry's gone in the last 3 to 5 years. What are we going to have in 3 to 5 years?
I don't know, but I'm hoping I'm part of it.
Oh my God. If you don't have a 200-inch plus yearling, you're not even in the game anymore. Let's go take a look at him.
Okay, I like looking at him.
Who are these big boys?
We're looking at Romeo and Big Sur.
Look at that. Look at that. What a beautiful 3-year-old buck. And Romeo is a 5-year-old?
He's a 5-year-old.
Now, what would you think that deer would score antler-wise?
Well,
Romeo.
Last year he scored 321 and change as a 4-year-old, and he looks almost identical this year. He kept his same width. He looks to be about 26 inches inside, has a 6x8 mainframe. But this thing, the neat thing he did, he put a drop tine on both sides right underneath the G3, G4 area.
Yeah.
And it just matches. They flare the outside and split. It just, I couldn't have drawn a picture better.
Oh my goodness gracious, look at that.
I think if we speak from a pure animal perspective, you know, I've targeted my genetics around wide, framey, uptine deer. If someone's looking to add width, an uptine look, a really what I call the look, the good look, I think I have that to offer.
Coming up next on Deer and Wildlife Stories.
Well, I see these beautiful animals, and they are each and every one of them beautiful, but I want you to show me a little bit more about specifically what do you do to get them like this?
Well, let me show you.
All right.
We'll be right back.
In Pennsylvania, there's a special man. His name is Glenn Dyson. He has actually been able to take Max Bow semen and make giant tomatoes. And look at this. These just started this morning. He planted them last night. They came out this morning. By this afternoon, they will be a salad. And it's just amazing that Max Bow semen is not only good for growing giant deer, but giant tomatoes.
That was great.
You never know where that semen will come in handy. What all are you growing besides the tomatoes and the corn?
Oh, we're growing some little bitty pumpkins here.
Little? Holy smokes. That's not little. That one right there, that's a Romeo pumpkin there. Look at that. Seriously, it's a giant pumpkin.
Well, and I like to grow everything big.
Yeah, really?
But this pumpkin is designed under the right growing situations to get up to 1,500 pounds. So
wow.
We're going to try. We'll see.
Oh, look at there, a tractor.
We're going to put you to work today, buddy.
That's all right. I know how to drive one now. All right. This isn't my favorite color, but I think I can do this one. All right, Glenn, what do you want me to do? Obviously, you want me to shred something. What do you want me to cut?
What's that? Just you can run right along the edge down there.
All right. Boy, I drive a Kubota. I'm not used to this. Okay. Out of the way. I know how to do this. I think I'm in reverse.
You know, this is pretty nice having Keith here at your farm. Billy was right. Having a fancy TV host here to do some menial labor is a great thing. Hope he's not working too hard. Well, second thought, I hope he is.
I like doing this. What you think? Not bad, huh?
I tell you what, not bad for a fancy TV host. It's just, it's the wrong field, buddy.
No way. You have a lot of recycled material, I can tell, in here. I mean, you're kind of like, well, most farmers really, but you know, we're environmentally aware of what's going on. But I can see the fence posts, I can see these fiberglass tanks.
The U-channel highway posts, we picked those up from the highway department, and we use them for our line post. Again, just trying to be environmentally conscious, use a used product, if you will. And the telephone poles we picked up from the telephone company.
Look at that.
And,
how's that for being
we
green?
like to call ourselves a green farm, if you will.
There you go. I like that.
We were talking about shelters on the farm, and whenever we were looking for possibilities in that arena, we wanted to look for something that was environmentally conscious. And we came up with these underground recycled petroleum tanks. They pull them out, and then we cut the end off, and that's what we use for our animal shelters. As you see around the farm, we don't have a whole lot of shade options, and this is something that we discovered and thought it was an ingenious use, and we think we're being environmentally friendly as well. And then we take the other ones, we cut them into rings, and we actually keep our baby fawns in there. The rings they're cut 40 inches high, and we use them for our fawns. We believe in raising our fawns in open air conditions. And when they're young, they have bundles full of energy, and sometimes they can injure themselves. We like these because they're smooth on the inside, and they can't run into any corners. And we just think it's an ingenious use to use something that otherwise would have to be shredded and put in a landfill, and we were able to put it to a good use. And we just really like them for our fawns. I hope that we're able to continue and grow into new marketplaces. NADEFA, which I'm the vice president of, we're constantly looking to open doors and create relationships to grow the industry into new states. It's not really a job. You know, they say if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. And I might be tired at the end of every day, but I don't feel like I went to work. I feel happy that I'm able to do it. Yeah. And I do it with my wife, recently married, and she loves the agricultural pursuit and the outdoor pursuits as well. And it's a blessing to be able to have a family here and do that.
Let me address something that deer farming is heavily regulated, and different states have different rules depending upon where you live are the rules that you're going to have to follow. So as you see and hear different things on this program, before you do anything at your farm or potential deer farm, we want to make sure that you follow all regulations. You can contact NADEFA, North American Deer Farmers, and they'll help you get in touch with the right people at your state agency that will help give you the rules that you need to follow in your state.
Coming up next on Deer and Wildlife Stories.
Okay, Keith, so here we have the place where we actually collect the samples when they come in to us.
I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to biology or chemistry in school, and now I wish I would have.
We'll be right back.
Okay, Keith, so here we have the place where we actually collect the samples when they come in to us. So each sample, whether it's hair or antler core sample or semen or tissue, will have a page that defines it.
I have a question. Obviously, this is hair in here.
Right.
How long will the hair last that you can take DNA out of?
If these samples are stored in a cool, dry place, they'll be good for several years. So here's the laboratory where we isolate the DNA samples. Each sample has a unique identifier that we track through the lab. The follicles, the roots of this hair will have DNA on it, and we have to actually break the cells open and release the DNA. The samples go into this incubator where they're held at 57 degrees centigrade.
Okay.
So now the DNA is free from the cells, but now we have to purify it away from all of the contaminants. And to do that, we use this machine. She's actually got samples in there and it's running right now.
Mm-hmm.
This is what the final tubes look like, and this will have the purified DNA in it. So then the next step of the process is to take the purified DNA and put it into the storage containers that we use for long-term storage of the DNA.
How long is long-term?
We can keep this for 5 years.
Yeah, you do this on humans as well then?
Yes. This is the same basic process for the humans, the cattle, white-tailed deer, elk, sika, whatever, the other types of samples that we've processed.
Pretty cool, huh? This is the kind of thing that, for me, it's pretty intimidating. I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to biology or chemistry in school, and now I wish I would have.
It's a very expensive machine. So,
I believe you.
I know, it's very
amazing.
technical. But all of that data is then displayed on the computer,
This is amazing. And what is truly amazing is that they can do it for the price that they do it for. I don't know how you can bring this much science into it for such an affordable price.
This is the final result of DNA testing for a particular animal using its unique DNA profile, which is shown on the bottom of the certificate. You can then go back and identify the potential mother and father, or in this case the buck and the doe, that would have produced this animal. If a person were to buy this animal, they would have all of that genetic information that's been proven by DNA testing that they can count on and know for certain the genetics that they're getting in this particular animal.
You know, you hear these deer that are bringing $100,000, $300,000, $500,000, even $1 million. I mean, there's deer that are bringing a lot of money. The reason for that is as they go through the pedigree, the deeper in the pedigree that you're able to go, and you start showing these deer right here are good deer, these deer become better deer, these become better and better and better.
Right, and there's no question once we've confirmed through the DNA testing. So that takes away any possibility of any misrepresentation or any clerical errors or anything that would result in you not getting the animal that you expected. Once we have all of the pieces to the puzzle, we've been able to identify who the proper sire and the dam are using the DNA analysis. Without DNA analysis, that would not have been possible.
Up next, a message from Keith.
Right on! Did you hear that? We are tree huggers. The tree huggers. They stole our line.
We'll be right back. This week's viewer email is brought to you by Bad Boy Mowers and Multi-Terrain Vehicles.
David Moss is from Seattle, Washington. As an avid hiker and kayaker, I've joined a few conservation groups that are generally referred by hunters as tree huggers in the negative term. However, after seeing a few of your shows, I have to wonder how far apart are we in caring for the welfare and continued success of wildlife and nature. I don't hunt and will never hunt, but the reasons and purpose behind hunting are in line with what I believe in, only take a different approach. Perhaps someday we will all be termed as tree huggers. Right on! Did you hear that? We are tree huggers. If you get up in a tree with a bow to go hunt a deer, if you go out and you pick pecans up off the ground, or you go out and you take pictures of animals, and you go out and you like to pick flowers and smell them, you're a tree hugger. I got news for you. We're the tree huggers, and we ought to stand up and be proud and join with David Moss from Seattle, Washington. The tree huggers, they stole our line. We're the tree huggers, and I'm proud of it.
If you have a question for Keith, you can submit an email by logging on to keithwarren.net.
Almost every hunter dreams of taking a trophy buck. Unfortunately, all too often, that dream never becomes a reality. On land where hunts are unguided and unmanaged, the average age of a white-tailed deer killed in many states is only 1.5 years old. This is akin to a teenager cut down before they've had a chance to live. This sad statistic applies largely to unguided hunters on unmanaged lands. They're anxious for the kill, and they don't have the experience or the discipline not to shoot. Their mentality is, if I don't kill him, someone else will. Unfortunately, this mindless eradication of immature bucks undermines everyone's dream of getting a trophy buck. Due to the overharvest of young bucks, most hunters, they've never seen a buck that's 5 years of age or more. Believe it or not, when a true, mature buck steps out, there is no doubt. It's something you'll never forget. The key to increasing your odds for taking an older buck is to hunt smart. All deer hunters should learn to judge the physical and behavioral differences between an adolescent deer and a mature buck. By passing on a 1.5 or 2.5-year-old buck this year, you set the stage for bigger bucks next year. As hunters, we should all be working toward a bigger and better herd. Those hunters who exercise a little patience and a few habitat management techniques today will help everyone reap rewards tomorrow. The reality is sometimes, you have to pass on a few bucks to get that trophy buck of your dreams.
If you would like to know more about what the American Deer and Wildlife Alliance can do for the future of the outdoors, log on to deerwildlifealliance.org. If you would like more information on today's featured operation, log on to their website or give them a call. If you would like to know more about the show and Keith Warren, log on to keithwarren.net. Coming up next week on Deer and Wildlife Stories.
We've been raising white-tailed deer for just about 16 years. Deer farmers across the country have a good impact on our economy. I think he could grow another 20, 30 inches probably without any problem.
My goodness. I'm going to have to come back up here. I'm going to. This is so beautiful. Looking for wild mushrooms. We don't have wild mushrooms in Texas that you eat. You wouldn't like this.
The thing that really impressed me about him is his stand for what he believes in. He's standing up for something I think more of us need to get involved in. We need to get behind him.
That's all you need to know is boom up, boom down, there's your bucket.
Where's the ejection seat?
For an interactive experience and to see last week's show in its entirety, visit our website.